Hi, welcome to our channel. I'm Marty Allman,
And I'm Jill White.
and we're your care partners, navigating care for others. I have gum in my mouth.
She does. She needs to get rid of it. You're going to have to stay after class. Detention for you.
Here we go.
Hey, all.
We're back. So I think we're going to talk about today is home safety. And many people may be caring for someone in their home or just someone living independently in their home. But also, if you're caring for a family member in your home, you might want to think about how you might want to modify the home to be a little bit safer for your person that you're caring for.
It's difficult to modify their home. I went through a lot of trial and errors with my aunt when trying to make her home safer because it was her home.
Yeah,
She
I don't
like
want
me
that
messing
there.
around.
That's not where I keep that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to be cognizant.
I kind of do that with my dad as well.
Yeah.
It's easy because you want to make things a little bit easier for you as you're caring for the person.
Well, and safer. I mean, the key is the safety.
Right.
So they don't always agree, but
Right. But sometimes it's what's best.
Just another hurdle that you'll have to jump or
Yep.
fall over either way.
Yeah. So let's talk about safety in let's just say the kitchen. We love to decorate our homes, and we often have little matchy things like matching area rugs and in the kitchen. Those can be a trip hazard for someone. So you have to be real careful, like make sure there's no fringes. Like some people have those spongy mats, and a lot of them are tapered. So those are a little bit okay if it's in front of a sink or something like that. So a person has really good grip. But we're talking about, the throw rugs that can slip or have a fringe that can get caught on a shoe or something like that. Also, if your person is having cognitive issues and it may not be safe for them to cook anymore on their own, maybe they can use the microwave. I don't know, but
my aunt did for a long time.
Yeah.
She was able to. Yeah, she stopped cooking on the stove when the eggs exploded when she was making boiled eggs for the last time. Yeah, you have to kind of be aware of all that. And you mentioned something before, somebody with some cognitive issues and also different types of dementia will cause a loss of either peripheral vision or depth perception.
Oh, yeah.
And often people are afraid to step on, sometimes it's even the flooring itself, because to them they just see it's like a hole.
Oh,
They're really frightened by that big square. It may just be a big tile that's darker than the other tiles, in a pattern. So it's just good to be aware of those things.
Yeah, a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer's do really see things totally different. And it can be scary. And we had a person that would step over a certain tile or something, and she thought it was a log, or when are they going to move that log out of the way?
Yeah, it's odd. But again, just being aware of it, and there's tons of books and obviously all kinds of research that's been done, so there, get whatever information you can to help trigger some of the things that you'll want to think about doing.
Just going back to the stove, you can take the knobs off of your stove, the person's stove. They might get a little frustrated with that, but that's another good safety thing. Or you can actually just, maybe have someone come help you and unhook the stove. So the stove's still in the house.
Right.
And that sort of thing. So you're not really changing the environment, but you're making it a little safe.
Yeah.
And honestly, folks, I'm telling on myself right now. You can ask my partner. I always forget to turn the stove off.
Oopsie.
I do. On a regular. So this is something that, nieces and nephews out there. Go ahead. Turn the stove off. Whatever you got to do, turn the breaker off to the stove. Because I will probably
set an alarm on your phone.
I do that now. But isn't that terrible? That's just something I do, and I think it's just
you're just going to
part
the
of
next
my
step without finishing that one.
A lot of times I just move on to the next thing. People might call it hyperactivity.
Well, and busy caregivers are often being called away constantly,
Mm,
and they lose their train of thought,
right.
or whatever's going on because they're
And
dealing with stuff.
we talked in our other video too about the refrigerator safety.
Hmm.
Make sure the light in the refrigerator is working so the person can see what they're taking out of the refrigerator to eat or drink, and that there's not something growing on it.
Yes,
Um,
something green and fuzzy.
right. And periodically, you might want to think about, going into the refrigerator and making sure
Purge.
those things are gone. We don't need salad dressing from 2014. Just not
Why not?
necessary.
It's still good.
Still good. It's still good. It's full,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that can be, you don't want your person on top of whatever diagnosis or whatever they have, getting a stomach bug because they ate
Hmm.
something in the refrigerator they shouldn't have,
Yeah, and I think
or you getting sick.
as a caregiver, I think you have to give yourself a lot of leeway, um, especially if you're dealing with somebody with dementia. You basically cannot lie to anyone that has dementia. Whatever you have to say to make them safe and comfortable and less anxious is fine. And sometimes when cleaning out the refrigerator, you have to be surreptitious. I was very good at being surreptitious. I would sometimes get a phone call later yelling at me, "Where's mine? Whatever, whatever." I'm like,
I
looked a little
don't know.
brown and fuzzy to me, so I tossed it. Sorry. I'll bring you some new stuff tomorrow.
Right.
So always trying to be cognitive of that person you're caring for and their needs and their wants and, their mental, happiness. You don't want to feel, and I did in the very beginning, I was steamrolling. I was going to come in and fix everything and do
Right.
everything. And she tossed me out of my butt practically.
Well, it happened to me too.
Had to rethink it.
Yeah, I went into, caring for my dad, like, hey, I got this. I've been doing this for years. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
be telling everybody what they need to do, and we got
This
this.
is going to be
And it
great.
got on my dad's nerves.
Mm.
He fired me. Hmm. Yes, he did. He fired me once.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So we do need to be careful that we're not infringing
yeah,
on someone's life, but
their dignity
yeah,
has to be, you know, kind of brought into
yeah,
play too, since
yeah.
whether in your home or theirs, it's still, they have to be a big part of it, the biggest part of
The people who work in the field are probably like
it.
the worst
Yeah,
home
probably. Probably.
because we know it
We
all.
know everything. You need to listen to us.
Right.
We're the experts.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
If they say, you can go home now.
yeah. Oh, I've heard that a couple times. Um, we laugh, but these things happen. Prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Just know those things happen. I wanted to tell a story, a safety story. Um, in Georgia, I had my own business, and I would go to people's homes. I would also um, visit people that were living in assisted livings or
Mm.
independent livings. And I was visiting with this woman who had mild dementia. Um, and someone had brought her flowers,
Mm.
and there was a vase of flowers on the table. And this is kind of scary, but she got thirsty and couldn't remember to go up to the refrigerator and get something to drink. So she drank the water from the vase
Mm-hmm.
that had the flowers in it. And those were a particular kind of flower that you really don't want to ingest. And um, I just kind of figured it out. I didn't watch her do it, but I noticed that morning when I went in, the flowers were there. And then I
Mm.
went to go do something in the apartment and then, came back and the flowers were out. And she was like, oh, I was so thirsty. But
Oh dear.
yeah,
Mm.
so, we took a trip to the ER because we didn't know,
What?
if they had put plant
Right.
food in
Right.
that or anything like that. So
Mm.
scary. And she ended up being fine. But, you know,
Yeah.
those things can happen.
And speaking of flowers, there is a list of flowers that are recommended, especially for memory care households, that are definitely non-poisonous.
Right.
So you can, and usually you can ask a florist, but there are lists you could probably get on almost
Hmm.
any Alzheimer's website or anything like that. So it's important to know. We used to feel terrible when people would send these beautiful bouquets to our community
Oh
for their
yeah.
loved one, and we'd have to start pulling flowers out of it because we
Yeah.
knew. So the local, sometimes it's good to let the local florist, especially if in a small town,
Yeah.
let them know that anything that's ordered for them or for that household should have non poisonous, because sometimes those things look good and they eat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens too.
People do. They get confused and do things like that. What else in the kitchen?
Knives.
Not.
Put 'em away.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but yes, depending on,
Yeah.
your
First,
person's
yeah. Well, because they may forget how to use a knife and end up,
harming
slicing.
themselves or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Someone that has memory
Sharp, very sharp.
issues or
Yeah.
something like that. Let's see. Let's move on to the living room. We all have that area that, gathers things and clutter. So maybe when you walk into your front door area and you walk into your living room, there might be shoes or coats or backpacks. If this person is living with you and you have a busy life, you might tend to come in and drop those things on the floor,
Right.
um, and those are obviously tripping
Yeah.
hazards for someone.
Especially because they may try to pick it up because in their head, oh,
Right.
I need to hang
I'm,
that coat up. So now they're
yeah,
falling down because they're trying to pick up whatever you left on the
right.
floor.
They want to be helpful
Right.
and yeah. So just, be aware of those sort of things. Also in the living room, let's say that this person might spend a lot of time in the living room. This isn't necessarily safety as much as it is quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Does that person have the things available next to them that they need?
Mm.
So you can walk away and do a load of laundry or go out in the yard or whatever. Is the TV remote there? Um, a glass of water, their favorite books, their favorite blankets. All of
Mm.
those little things are important. If you think about when you get home from work or wherever you've been, you like your little sitting spot.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
a place that you go to relax, and you have all the things that you
Mm-hmm.
you like around you. So just make sure that
Yeah.
that person has that. But that's not really a safety thing as much as
Uh,
it is a quality of life
happy
thing.
thing.
But yeah, since we were on the living room, I thought I'd
Yeah.
say that.
And make sure
Um,
the TV's not too loud. And sometimes it depends on their hearing, obviously.
yeah.
But for a lot of people, again, with dementia, often I hear people all the time saying, "Oh, well, the TV's on all day, but he's not really watching it." Well, then it probably doesn't need to be blasting, because if he's not really watching it, it's just sort of background noise, and
Hmm.
sometimes that's more intrusive and can make people agitated
Confusing.
because
Yeah.
they're not, or they're hearing the loudest parts of it. If the news is on or certain news
Hmm.
channels. I know a lot of my caregiver support folks say they try to change the channel, but sometimes that's not able to.
They're
You're not able to.
newsies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, it's their comfort and their level of whatever it is they need, to
Hmm.
keep them content, and
Right. And
see.
someone who might have some cognitive
Hmm.
issues, um, a story they hear on TV, a news flash or whatever,
Hmm.
breaking news. They all
Yeah,
say breaking news
yeah,
anymore, right? They could go into sort of a panic of,
yeah.
this is happening right now
Right
and we've
here.
got to go, depending on,
Yep.
their social history and what's gone on in their past. So, yeah, be aware of what's on the TV
Hmm.
before you leave to go outside or whatever. And that's kind of a safety thing because if somebody
Sure.
did go into a panic or become disoriented, they could really think that
Yeah.
all the things that we see on TV. I don't even want to
Sure.
go into it.
Yeah.
I
That
don't.
invasion might be happening right here. I mean,
Right,
in their mind, they're not
right.
processing it
And then the next thing
properly.
they're hiding
Yeah.
or you know
Or get up, get into.
gathering things to leave or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's just something to be aware of. How about the bathroom? What's some safety things in the bathroom?
Well, either no rugs or no slip
Right.
floor mats. Definitely make sure they have that whatever it is on the bottom there, that so they're not going to get out and trip and slip.
Hmm.
Usually, it's a good idea to have some kind of seat so they're not standing for a long period of time, assuming that this is somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's still getting around on their own. But they will tire more easily, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when somebody might just, fall down or try to sit
Mm-hmm.
down and it doesn't work. So um,
Yeah,
the
it's important.
bars,
Yeah, the
grab
bars.
bars.
So grab bars. And I'm going to put this out there in this way because you know what? Not everybody can afford to have a guy come in and
Mm.
install grab bars. Um, there are organizations in, I'm sure, in your community, someone from a local church or whatever. It's hard to reach out for help, but if you don't know how to install a grab bar, and you need grab bars in your, in your shower or next to your toilet or whatever, don't hesitate to
Hmm.
call the pastor at the church that's just 2 blocks away, even if you don't go to church there. Because more than likely, there's somebody in that church that would be so happy
Yeah,
to help
to do
you.
that.
And also, if you, maybe can't afford grab bars, thrift stores and church bargain
Hmm.
basements and Goodwill. A lot of times we'll have kind of a section
Hmm.
with that stuff in it. So it's, more affordable and they
Yeah.
may be used. You just bring them home and sanitize them and,
And
um,
sometimes you can put stuff out if you have internet access. And I know some of like marketplace, different things on
yeah.
Facebook where you can put a need out there, and there probably are people that are like, oh my gosh, we have those. I have that old wheelchair. It's been in the garage now
Hmm.
since Uncle so and so passed away, or we had those grab bars, or the toilet seat with the arms that you can
Yeah.
actually attach, right
Yeah. They
on
have
it.
these
So
great things. They have these plastic raised
yeah.
toilet seats, that so the person doesn't have to bend so
Right.
far to sit down on
Yeah,
an average
yeah,
sized
it
toilet.
converts it to a high boy, which is so
Yeah.
much easier for
Mhm.
people when they're trying to
Mhm.
get up,
I
and
mean,
the arms are
they're
right there.
probably, I don't know, how many inches would you say
It's
that
probably about eight
is?
inches or
Yeah.
more that it'll lift.
And so yeah, that was
Yeah,
very helpful with my mom. And then they have, of course, the potty chairs. We call them
right.
potty chairs, but
Yeah, the
bedside
commodes.
canoe if you want to be.
The commode.
Yes.
And there
Um,
are, you had mentioned the church, and I can't think right now, but there is, I know here in the Northern Neck, there's an annual um, where the churches all get together, and they spend the whole day going out and doing work.
oh yeah, that's
What is that?
uh
We're having a moment here.
shoot,
Yeah, exactly. So, but
Operation Inasmuch.
in as much, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
in as much,
Yeah,
that's it.
many of the churches will
Yep,
get together one time of year and they find out about needs in the
yep.
community
They'll make
and
ramps, they'll
yeah.
fix windows. I mean, almost anything that you
Mm-hmm.
need done. And that's always a good source to
Yeah.
get, if you need medical
And not
equipment
only
and
that,
stuff like
that if you reach out to an organization like that, a lot of times you end up making
that.
friends with the
Yeah,
people who came to help you.
absolutely.
And guess what? They're a part of your parachute,
Yeah, yep,
because they know that you're home with this person or this person is home
yeah.
alone. And, a lot of times they'll reach out and say, is there anything I can do?
Hmm.
I can go pick your groceries up. We're getting a little bit off topic,
Yeah,
but it's the, yeah,
that's how it
reaching
works.
out to different, yeah, reaching out to different organizations like um what did I say?
Well, in as much,
In as much.
or any, you
Yeah.
can call probably any of the churches,
Hmm.
or synagogues, whatever, and they will
Yeah.
know exactly what you're looking for, and they'll be able to put you in touch
Right.
with the organization
And
or the
youth,
local aging, network,
right.
whatever that
In youth
is.
organizations, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. A lot of times they're looking for projects.
Hmm.
Boy Scouts,
Yeah. Boys and Girls
getting
Club,
those
Girl Scouts.
Eagle Scout
Yeah.
badges. Those are things that people look
Yeah.
for projects to
Yeah.
do. So that's bathroom. Also, just like you would, and I am not being demeaning in any way, but just like you would for a child, check that water temperature.
Mm.
Make sure the water
Mm.
temperature is appropriate. As we age, our skin gets a lot more vulnerable. It loses its elasticity,
Hmm. Very sensitive.
and it's thin. It gets
Yeah.
thinner. And so, hot water, you know, can really
Can
hurt
scald.
someone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes you actually can you can usually make an adjustment on a hot water heater and turn the highest temp down somewhat so that
Hmm.
it's not going to, boil anybody's skin off when they when they
Right,
go to wash their
right.
hands. That would be me because I don't like hot water. I'm a lukewarm kind of person.
Yeah.
So,
And again, if you don't know how to do that, you know, reach out. Reach
hmm,
out and find someone who does. You may have a neighbor, that knows exactly how to do
yeah.
that. So that's another one. If your person has some cognitive impairment, let's not leave mouthwash out.
Mm.
Um, Anything that might look flavorful.
Toothpaste gets eaten a lot.
Yeah.
We had a lot of residents like
Yeah.
eating that toothpaste.
Yep. And shampoo comes in these beautiful
Mm.
peach colored,
Yeah.
you know, bottles.
Yeah.
It just does,
It's
and
inviting.
it can be tempting.
Yeah.
You know, little things like that. Obviously, razors.
Mm.
These are things that people use their entire lives,
Right.
but depending on the level of, you know,
What they're
yeah, their
able to
abilities
do.
are,
Yeah.
you know,
And back to
I
the
would just kind of
bedroom.
keep those things away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, often, especially the older beds are very high, right? So, and I mean, I've known so many people that have had like little step stools next to the bed, which can be super dangerous. So,
Hmm.
there usually is a way, I mean, there's always a way that you can lower the box spring and mattress
Hmm.
down so that it's not, somebody's trying to hop up onto the bed and falling off and
Right,
cracking a hip. So, I
right.
mean, it's all these little things that seem simple, but they're, when they're part of your everyday life, it's hard to change and it's hard to get
Hmm.
somebody, especially if it's not at their direction. But sometimes you just kind of need to take the initiative when you know it's a safety issue and
Yeah.
kind of deal with it.
We that's kind of leads me into a story. So my best friend growing up, her mother had a stroke, and they have a very large family, and so there were people in and out taking care of the mom. And the mother had um, so she had some cognitive issues after her stroke, and so she wasn't aware of the things that she couldn't do
Mm.
anymore,
Hmm.
because her brain told her she was perfectly fine, but her
Yeah.
body didn't want to cooperate. Something they did that I thought was so cool, was they had taken pool noodles
Hmm.
and put them under the fitted sheet on the bed, so at night, when
Oh.
mom would, possibly think about getting up, it slowed her down a little bit.
Huh.
Because she had to kind of get her leg over the little bump, the pool noodle under the fitted
Okay.
sheet, and it was like a bumper almost,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
it just
So she didn't try
slowed.
to climb
She
over
didn't.
it necessarily,
She
but it
couldn't
slowed her
climb
down,
over it.
and
And I
that's
don't
good.
mean that in a bad way, but
Well,
yeah, it slowed her down if she
nice.
was trying to climb over it long enough for somebody to
Somebody
come into the room
gotcha.
and help her.
Nice.
And that brings up another thing. So we talked about in one of our other episodes, cameras,
Oh yes.
and
Oh Lord, yes.
they are really important. And I have a little bit of hesitation about cameras. I'm not suggesting that cameras are bad or anything like that, but for me, privacy
Mm.
is really important. So
Mm-hmm.
something that we did was, we used a baby monitor,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a way to hear what was going on, but you weren't invading
Right.
somebody's privacy.
Right.
Or that person could call and say, "Hey, I need
Right.
some help up here." Something fun to get if your person is still, very cognitively there. Walkie talkies.
Yeah.
I mean, Roger, I need a glass of water or some popcorn
Yeah.
or whatever. You're giving that person space, but they
Yeah.
can be in touch with you. And
Yeah.
nowadays we have cell phones and things like that. But
Well, even like, Alexa or Google, I think I told you
yeah,
my
oh yeah,
my my kids have I guess it's Google Home or whatever with their dad who's blind, and they can drop in. There's usually an
right.
indication that somebody's dropping in on you, but they can talk back and forth even on that
It's
monitor.
pretty
So
amazing.
it is cool. And I
Yeah.
think the cameras, can be very important. I know I've got people that are now coming to caregiver support group. They're much more comfortable coming and staying the whole time
Mm.
because they're not constantly having to look at their watch and go, "Oh gosh, I wonder if he got out of the chair. I wonder if he wanted
Mhm.
us to go outside. I wonder if he's going to the mailbox again." And they can instantly see, "Oh, good, he's still sitting in the chair watching that damn news program." But it can definitely give a sense of security
Mhm.
to you as a caregiver.
Yeah, and also here I'm going to piggyback on that by saying, okay, so maybe you're not technically savvy, like
Mm,
you and I are not technically savvy.
exactly.
Um, who do we turn to
15
for?
year olds.
Yeah.
Any 15-year
So
olds.
yeah, if you have a niece, nephew, grandson, or somebody that can, hey, I want to put these cameras up, but I
Right.
really don't know what I'm doing. Um, they can help you, but also both of us recently have called a local computer repair store to ask for advice.
Hmm.
And I'm 85-90% sure that if you let them know your situation and told them that you needed to install these cameras and you had no idea how to do any of it, they would probably send somebody out to
Yeah, that'd
help
be
or
awesome.
at least call you. You could go to that shop
Hmm.
and they could get everything set up on your phone and
Yeah,
everything. And then all you have to do is, place the camera where you
yeah,
want it.
yeah.
So,
Don't let that
yeah, don't let
keep
it
you from
stop
trying
you.
it. There's
Yeah.
somebody out there that'll be able to give you a
Hmm.
hand. YouTube video.
Yeah, and yeah, YouTube videos. Um, you just have to be willing. You have to be open when you're caring for someone. This is not a one person job.
Mm-mm,
It's
can't
just
be.
not. And so you do have to kind of humble yourself a little bit and say, I can't do this,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Pull that parachute line as often
Yeah,
as you need
yeah.
to get help because that's what people want to do. We've talked about that before too.
Hmm.
People often say, "Oh, what can I do to help?" Or "I wish I could help." Well, it can be something very simple like that. It doesn't have to be a big thing you're asking for.
Hmm.
It can be very minor. And that person feels good that they were able to do a little
Yeah,
something for you,
yeah.
you know?
Somebody told me once, you don't want to block someone else's blessing.
Absolutely.
So if someone wants to bless you, it's very nice and humble for you to go, oh no, that's
Mm,
okay.
I
That's
can
just
do it.
me. I do it myself. You're kind of blocking someone else's blessing.
Absolutely.
Because it makes them feel
Yep,
good
it's
to
a
be able to
gift.
help.
You're giving them
Yeah.
a gift of letting
So
them help you.
it
Truly.
works out. It works out.
Yeah,
Um,
we're almost there.
we're almost, boy, these videos are going by
We're
really
talking a
fast.
lot.
We haven't even gotten to different spots of the house. Doorways, are they well lit?
Mm.
And that kind of brings me around to something else I was thinking about. Bathrooms being well lit at night, have a night light.
Always.
Now they sell this
Like a
rope
strip.
light that
Yes.
can go right underneath the cabinet
Yeah,
so you can see the floor.
perfect.
You can actually, there's something that you can hang on the side of the toilet that
Mm.
lights up the toilet bowl now. You can get all that stuff on
Cool.
Amazon and it doesn't cost that much. And that's really helpful for people with cognitive
Yep.
issues or sight
Sight issues.
issues,
Yeah.
where they can actually see the toilet to go
Yeah.
to the
There
bathroom.
really are, we'll talk about this probably in another segment, but there are a lot of adaptive devices
Mm-hmm.
that are available for folks with different types of handicap, whether it be, physical or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But there really are a lot of things that are, and they're usually available through, the AARP information
Oh
or
yeah.
Medicare sometimes
Mm-hmm.
has programs and presentations. Any senior type organization will all often have information that you can follow up with or ask about. But
We didn't get to the yard or
we didn't even get outside the
I
door,
know,
Marty.
right? We didn't get outside the door. So let's think about it. If you're walking up the steps to your house or the walkway,
Steps.
yeah, steps, make sure that there's some sort of rail
Yeah.
there or that, you're with your person. I mean, you probably already know this, but when you're just getting into it, you don't think about those things. And if that person is not too steady on their feet, or maybe they've been sitting in the car for a
Hmm.
long time and now they're being asked to get up.
Yeah.
And sometimes when older people stand up too quickly, they can lose their balance
Sure.
and get like a little lightheaded.
Yeah.
Which kind of we were talking about patience earlier.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be another segment.
I know,
You're
because
gonna have to be patient.
we're running out of time. But yeah, patience is safety, part of safety.
Absolutely.
Having patience with that person. Yes, it's important. You know, you have to get on a phone call at 3 o'clock and we're just getting out of the car and it's quarter till and this person is taking a long time to get out of the car and
Mm.
walk up to the house. You know, you have got to put it in your mind that things are going to take at least 15, 20 minutes longer than they
Hmm.
normally did before.
Yeah.
You know,
Find something that you can do, count, say a little prayer, do a little
yeah.
meditation, something that will give that person time to process what perhaps they've been asked to do and
Hmm.
actually, and we'll talk about it next time, be
Hmm.
able to process it and then have it happen.
Right.
It's everything's going to take more time. Sometimes it's a minute or more before the person is actually able to
Right.
cognitively understand what was said to them or asked of them. So by the time you're impatient waiting for an answer, they're still trying to figure out how to get that answer that they're just processing out. So
Right.
it's a different
Right.
process and a
Yeah.
different time frame.
And physically too. It just, you know, if there's not a cognitive issue or anything like that, but physically, as you age, you know, you just become slower in things.
Hello.
But if people feel rushed or they feel like they're a
Yeah.
burden or they're inconveniencing, they will rush themselves. And the
Hmm.
next thing you know, they're tripping over their feet.
Or they'll shut down and say, no, I'm
Yeah.
not going.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have we
Right.
had say, I've been trying to get to my mom to the doctor's appointment. This is the fourth time she's refusing to get up and go at the last minute. So,
Right. That's
there's,
probably why.
yeah,
Because,
yeah,
you know, they don't want to feel rushed. And, you know, sometimes if there's a doctor's appointment on a day, that's going to take all day, maybe
yeah,
with some
yeah.
people. But we are running out of time. Just want to see if there's anything else. Just check your lights and just make
Mm.
sure rooms are very well lit.
Lighting, make sure everything's stable, make sure if there are wooden stairs, they're stable and they're in
Hmm.
place, and the hand railing is stable and
Hmm.
not loose. So just checking for normal, wear and tear kind of items can
Yeah,
help. So,
yeah. And we were talking about uneven
mm,
areas. You know, they sell duct tape in every color you can
yeah.
think of. So if you do see, you know, an area that might be unstable or
Hmm.
uneven ground or whatever, you know, put a big X there. It's okay. It's not pretty,
Yeah,
but it'll help that person not step in that area and then possibly have a fall and
right.
you're spending, you
Yeah,
know, hours,
yeah,
maybe days in the hospital.
right.
Um, so anyway,
Yes.
that was a real quick one. I don't know.
I think we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, we have to wrap it
So we're still here for you.
up.
As always, reach out to us. Email, as Marty said the last time, and you can briefly go
Yes.
over what is Spotify.
Yeah, we're our videos are and podcast is available on Spotify. You can just type in Your Care Partners, usually comes right up. It might be Your Care Partners Navigating Care for Others. We're available on YouTube, which is Your Care Partners as well, Navigating Care for Others. And then Anchor is anchor.fm/your care partners. And then our email address is your care partners, your care partners, ncfo1@gmail.com. And, you know, we encourage you to leave comments on the
Mm-hmm.
videos. And one of us is usually, you know, checking out, you know, if there are any comments left. But you can always email us. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably the best way to
Get an alert
yeah,
faster.
questions answered. And we'll do our best, regardless of where you are in the U.S. I don't know, you know, about Canada or anywhere else, but regardless of where you are in the U.S., we can always look something up online
Mm-hmm.
and just try to help you.
Yep.
And
Get a resource
yeah,
for
get a
you.
resource for you. But
Okay.
anyway, we thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for watching our videos. And as we move along, you know, maybe we'll get that production crew we're looking for.
Yes. Hair and makeup production.
Anyway,
Okay.
have a great
Take
day.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.